My car died in the parking lot of a grocery store on a Thursday night. I just finished a 12-hour shift. I had 2 bags of groceries in the back seat, and the engine wouldn't turn over. Nothing. Not even that little clicking sound people tell you to listen for. I sat there for a minute with my hand on the key, like trying it one more time was going to change something. It didn't. My name is Denise Carter. I was 42, working as a home health aide, and I needed my car to make money. My clients lived all over town. No car meant no shifts. No shifts meant no check. So when that engine died, I wasn't thinking about finding the best deal. I was thinking about getting back on the road as fast as possible. The mechanic called me the next morning. The repair was going to cost more than the car was worth. I already knew the car was near the end. I'd just been hoping it would hold on a little longer. It didn't. I spent that weekend looking online. Every dealership ad seemed to say the same thing. Bad credit? No problem. Past repossession? No problem. Low down payment? No problem. Everybody said yes. That was exactly what I needed to hear. My credit had taken a hit after I missed some card payments and fell behind on a medical bill. I didn't think a bank or credit union would approve me, so I didn't even try. That was my first mistake. Monday morning, I went to a buy here, pay here lot about 15 minutes from my apartment. The salesman was friendly. He asked where I worked, how long I'd been there, and how much I made. He didn't make me feel embarrassed about my credit. He said they helped people like me every day. Then he showed me a silver sedan. It was 7 years old and had a little over 90,000 miles on it. It looked clean. The air worked. It started right up. After spending the whole weekend worried about how I'd get to work, hearing that engine start sounded like relief. I asked how much the payment would be. He said, $220 every 2 weeks. I did the math in my head. I got paid every 2 weeks. I figured I'd make the car payment when my check hit and handle everything else with what was left. It didn't sound great, but it sounded possible. I had $1,600 saved. They wanted $1,200 down. That left me with $400. I told myself I'd build my savings back up. The salesman went through the paperwork pretty fast. He talked about the warranty, roadside assistance, and a tracking device that was already installed in the car. There were numbers all over the page: vehicle price, finance charge, service contract, processing fee, total payments. I didn't study any of it the way I should have. I kept looking at the line that said $220. That was the number I cared about. I signed. I drove home feeling like I'd solved the problem. I made it to work the next morning. I picked up groceries on the way home. I took my granddaughter to school that Friday. For about 2 weeks, I felt good about the decision. Then the first insurance bill came, $248. My old car had been paid off, and I'd carried basic coverage. The new loan required more coverage, and my insurance company priced it that way. I hadn't asked what insurance would cost before I bought the car. I'd only asked about the payment. Then I filled the tank. Then I paid for an oil change. Then the first car payment came out. 2 weeks later, another one came out. That's when something started bothering me. $220 every 2 weeks didn't mean $440 every month. Most months it felt like that, but twice a year there'd be a month with 3 payments instead of 2. That meant $660 coming out during those months. I hadn't thought about that at the dealership. I'd heard every 2 weeks and treated it like twice a month. Those aren't the same thing. The car payment averaged close to $480 a month. Insurance was almost $250. Gas was around $180 because I drove for work. Before repairs, oil changes, registration, or anything else, That car was costing me close to $900 a month. I brought home a little under $3,000 in a good month. My rent was $1,100. The car was taking almost another $900. That left about $1,000 for lights, food, my phone, medicine, household expenses, and everything else. The dealership had approved me. My budget hadn't. At first, I tried to pretend it was working. I stopped buying lunch during my shifts. I canceled 2 subscriptions. I quit picking up coffee in the morning. Those things helped a little, but they weren't the real problem. I was trying to fix a $900 car expense by skipping a $6 meal. Then one month had 3 payments. That month broke me. The 3rd payment hit 2 days before my electric bill was due. I moved money around. I paid part of the light bill. I borrowed $100 from my sister. I used a credit card for groceries. That car had gotten me back to work, but it was also pushing me backward. I was ashamed because I'd been so proud when I drove it home. I didn't want anybody to know I couldn't really afford it. One evening, I was sitting at my kitchen table with the contract, my insurance bill, and my bank statement spread out in front of me. For the first time, I read every page I'd signed. The payment wasn't the only number that mattered. The amount financed mattered. The interest mattered. The number of payments mattered. The fees mattered. The service contract mattered. The total cost at the bottom of the page mattered. I'd bought the car based on one number, the smallest number they showed me. I called the dealership the next day. I wasn't expecting them to erase the contract. I'd signed it. I asked what I owed if I wanted to pay the loan off early. I asked whether any of the add-ons could be canceled. I asked what would happen if I traded the car. I asked what they reported to the credit bureaus. Some of the answers helped, some didn't, but at least I finally understood what I'd agreed to. Then I called my insurance company. I asked them to go through every part of the policy with me. I also got quotes from 2 other companies. I found a lower rate, but it still wasn't cheap. That saved me about $40 a month. $40 wasn't going to solve everything, but I wasn't turning it down. Next, I called a credit union. I expected them to say no. Instead, the woman I spoke with asked me questions. How long had I been at my job? How much did I owe? What was the car worth? What did my credit look like now? She told me I probably wouldn't qualify for better terms that day. But she also told me what they'd look for if I came back later. Steady payment history, lower card balances, no new late payments, enough income left after my other bills. That conversation gave me something I didn't have when I walked onto the car lot, a plan. For the next 6 months, I treated the car payment like it was due before payday. I moved the money into a separate account as soon as I got paid. I stopped waiting to see what was left. I kept every payment on time. I paid down 1 small credit card. I picked up 1 extra Saturday shift a month, but I didn't depend on overtime to make the regular payment. That was important to me. If the car only worked when I was exhausted, then it still didn't work. I also started putting $50 a month into a repair account. That didn't feel like enough, but 4 months later, the battery went bad. The repair account covered most of it. For once, a car problem didn't go straight onto a credit card. About 7 months after I bought the car, I went back to the credit union. This time, they approved me for a refinance. The rate was still higher than what somebody with excellent credit might have gotten, but it was better than what I had. The payment dropped. I also changed the due date so it lined up better with my pay schedule. Between the refinance and the lower insurance rate, I freed up a little over $150 a month. That money didn't make me rich. It gave me breathing room. I rebuilt a small emergency fund. I stopped using my credit card for groceries. I paid my sister back. The car stopped feeling like it owned my paycheck. I still drive that same car. It's not fancy. There's a scratch near the back door, and the radio loses the station every now and then. But it starts. It gets me to work. And now I know what it actually costs me. The biggest mistake I made wasn't buying a car with bad credit. I needed transportation, and my choices were limited. My mistake was deciding what I could afford based only on the payment the salesman gave me. I didn't check the insurance first. I didn't look at the total cost. I didn't ask enough about the interest, fees, or add-ons. I didn't try a bank or credit union because I'd already decided they'd reject me. The car lot said yes, and I treated that like proof I could afford the deal. It wasn't. Approval meant they were willing to make the loan. It didn't mean the payment fit my life. Now, when somebody tells me what a car payment will be, I don't stop there. I want to know what insurance will cost. I want to know how often the payment is due. I want to know the total number of payments. I want to know what fees and extras are included. I want to know what the car is likely to cost me every month after I drive it off the lot. That's the number I wish I'd looked at the first time. If my situation feels familiar, I hope you received some information from this story that'll help you look beyond the payment before signing for a car. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more informative stories like this one.